The what if that happens technique for handling fear. The what if that happens technique is a cognitive method designed to confront and dissolve your fears by exploring worst case scenarios and neutralizing their emotional grip. This can help you move from avoidance and anxiety towards a fear to empowerment and action by facing fears head on that you have and realizing that most outcomes, even the worst, can be managed or overcome. So let's go through the steps. So step number 1, identify the fear clearly. Pinpoint exactly what you're afraid of. Be specific with this. So you can say, I'm afraid I'll fail in my business. Or I'm afraid of rejection if I approach this girl I have a crush on. I don't want to talk to. You can then ask yourself, what if that happens? Instead of avoiding the fear, directly confront it. Ask, what if that actually happens? What would I do? So if you fail in your business, what if that happens? What would you do? If you approach the girl you have a crush on and you're rejected, what would I do? What if that actually happens? Walk yourself through the scenario as if it's unfolding, which helps expose the fear to more logic and reason. So step number 3, follow the fear to its logical conclusion. Ask yourself, and then what? Continue exploring what happens after the feared event occurs. Often, the imagined worst-case scenario is far less catastrophic than it initially feels. So, for example, what if I approach her and she rejects me? You can say, well, I feel embarrassed. And then ask yourself, and then what? And then you may say, I'll walk away and nothing changes in my life, but I'll learn and get better at handling rejection. Step number 4, neutralize the fear by exploring coping strategies. Once you've envisioned the worst case scenario, shift the focus to solutions. I like this rule I learned from Tony Robbins. So you spend 10% of your time identifying the problem you may have, and then you spend 90% of the time working on the solution. So you can ask yourself, how would I handle it if that happened? Develop an action plan to mitigate the consequences or bounce back. This can shift you from feeling powerless to being prepared for what you fear. So step number 5, discover that you can handle it. Realize that even the worst outcomes are survivable. When you confront fears mentally and explore possible solutions, you develop emotional resilience and reduce the intensity of fear. Most fears lose their power when faced with logic and strategy. So example scenarios for men. Fear public speaking. What if I forget what I'm saying, you may say to yourself. So that's the problem. Solution. I'll pause, take a deep breath, and gather my thoughts. I can even make a joke to lighten the moment. Going back to the fear of starting a business. Fear, possible problem. What if I fail and lose money? Solution. I'll learn from the failure, pivot, and apply those lessons to my next venture. Going back to fear of rejection in dating. Possible problem. What if she says no? Solution. I'll respect her decision and move on. I'll gain confidence and improve with each interaction. Now let's reinforce why this technique is powerful for you. Number 1, it builds more emotional resilience. Confronting your fear head-on strengthens emotional toughness and trains you to navigate discomfort. Number 2, it can shift from being a victim to being a creator. Instead of being paralyzed by your fear, you take control by developing strategies to overcome obstacles. Number 3, it eliminates irrational fears. When fears are dissected logically, many are revered as exaggerated or unrealistic. And number 4, this process fosters confidence through preparedness. By preparing mentally for worst-case scenarios, you develop a mindset of readiness and adaptability. I'll finish this video by adding a bonus for you. So when you go through the what if that happens technique, you can also add the following. What's the best that could happen? After addressing the worst case scenario, you can ask yourself, what's the best that could happen? This keeps you open to positive outcomes and aligns your mind towards success while being prepared for challenges. And it is in my personal view, by embracing this technique consistently, you can dismantle fears and move through your life with more courage, confidence, and control. So, this is Aaron Watkins, men's personal development, health, and fitness coach. I hope you got value from this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.